will now be recorded.
Hey guys, welcome to the weekly watch list. Sorry for the delay. I was really sick this past weekend, so I am doing the weekly watch list tonight. So on Friday we had a break of a downtrend, an uptrend. We had this break here, and then today we kind of had this inside day on our daily chart. This is ES, S&P 500. So we kind of had this inside day here, which is a bullish harami. So we close above this, and that will confirm the harami tomorrow, and we should continue up. But you could see this uptrend here got broken here, and we are not able to get back above this uptrend. We're kind of forming this little shoulder here, a head here, and another shoulder here. We could see that better on the 4-hour chart. So we have a shoulder here, we have the head here, and we have another shoulder here. But this shoulder here, if we push above here and continue up, and then when we break this high over here, then that is going to cancel out that shoulder. So if we get above this, this is already going to be weak, as we're going to be attempting to go back to these highs. Now, if we get rejected here and we fall down, then this head and shoulders is going to be good. And if we break this minor support here, we should go to 244. And then after 244, we don't have really strong support until about 2910, 2900, because our next major support is 2950, and we have a little gap right here on that 2950. But if we lose that, and we should be trying to get some support at this 2944. But if we lose that, that's where essentially we're going to be headed. And looking at the weekly chart, we have this rising wedge, and we had this previous rising wedge that was here, and it broke down. We had that rising wedge, and it broke down and formed a new rising wedge. So we're currently at the top end of that rising wedge. We're still forming a bullish pattern. We haven't broke it yet. Once we break this blue line, this minor support, we should be breaking this down and holding here. If we hold here, we'll still be bullish, as this would still be considered a nice bull flag. If it holds this 2900, we could definitely hold that and then come back up and then break out. But if we don't, and we break down and we fall down, that's pretty much, we're going to be coming back down here to the 2730 area. If we do break down this 2900, that'd be about a 200-point drop, roughly, from this support, which would be almost a 300-point drop from where we currently are now, if that does. And I'm not going to say that, we set it up here and we're going to break down. We set it up here and we're going to break down. When you have a pattern back to back, usually they don't both work out back to back, right? If you had a head and shoulders and it fires, and you have another head and shoulders, typically it doesn't fire that way and it fakes you out. So here we have rising wedge, broke down. We have another rising wedge. Maybe it comes back down to 2900, gets a bunch of people short, and then reverses and then takes off. Or maybe it holds this 2960 on this minor support. Maybe it holds that and then we take off. We could definitely hold this 29.60. I do feel though that we will test this 29.60 at least. Probably even this 29.50. We'll probably test that 29.50, this gap fill. I'm anticipating we at least test that 29.50 and then hold and then head back up. Now, if we lose that, these are our areas of interest that we're going to be looking at if price comes down to here. But if we do hold this, then we'll be looking for this breakout of 3,023.50. And if we do break that out and we get above this rising wedge, then we should have good momentum to the upside to the price target 1 of 3,100. Now, of course, earnings is a factor, and we have a lot of big names coming up this week. So, of course, that's going to be something to watch. If those are good and this breaks out to the upside, maybe that's going to be the catalyst that breaks this wedge to the upside and we start taking off. But I would like to see a pullback to 29.50. That would be healthy. That would be really healthy. And this head and shoulders, it should push us there as long as we don't break above here. Should push us there. So we'll be looking at that tomorrow. We'll be looking at it to break down. Hold here at 29.50 area, gap fill. 29.60, 29.50, that's an area where I'll be looking at to go long. 29.44 for sure. I'll be looking to see if it holds there. If this doesn't hold, it's definitely going to hold at this 29.10, and then that would be buy zone right there for sure to go higher. Okay, so looking at the weekly again, that rising wedge, the reason why I bring that up is because on NQ as well, which is NASDAQ, has the same. So we had a rising wedge here, broke down. Now we have another one. We have another rising wedge here. We were in this bullish channel. We broke out of that channel, and now we're going sideways, forming a bull flag. Okay, we're in this downtrend. We broke out of that, tried to break back in, then we broke out of it again today. So we broke out of that downtrend. We're holding that daily support on NASDAQ. So NASDAQ is stronger than the ES right now. So this definitely had a bullish Harami as well as the ES did. This one had a slightly bigger one. So this is showing more strength than ES's. So definitely if this, continues and closes up, especially if it breaks that all-time highs and it starts running, then that's going to be a good sign that ES is going to continue on pushing as well. Because this one's strong and it's going to pull, it's going to pull tech because NASDAQ is tech pretty much, large portion of tech. So it's going to push tech and ES will also follow. Okay. So we'll be looking at that. And this one also had kind of a head and shoulders, but it really didn't really formulate as much. So this is the shoulder, this is the head, but we never came back down to this area to form another head on there. So this head and shoulders is no good. So then the ES head and shoulders might not work out. If NQ pushes, and we could see this downtrend here and here. So we're gonna come and test that downtrend. And I could delete this here, and I could form that channel here. So now we have this kind of sideways action coming on. So we're here at the upper end of that channel. If we reject, then we're gonna come back down here, and then we're gonna kind of like chop and hit this and do another one of these V recoveries. You know, we had a lot of these V recoveries. So if that happens again, then we know, okay, when we drop down to here, make a lower low, then we're gonna pop back up and we're gonna come back up to this above this 7902, 75. So if we drop down here, we know that this is going to be some support, and then we're going to be call buying here to pop this up again to respect this channel. If we break out this channel, then we're going to have a big candle through it, and we're going to be testing that all-time high there at 8,150. So, I mean, it looks good with some good buy volume, but we definitely have to see what tomorrow's going to bring, because we have conflicting things saying on ES, you know, with the head and shoulders, and then NQ doesn't have the head and shoulders. It does have this channel. We're at the top of this channel. So we're going to see, do we consolidate some more until, you know, later on in the week when we have more earnings information, when there's already enough companies that have announced that can take us higher or take us lower? Are we just going to consolidate until then? We're going to have to check it out and see. So ES is SPY and NQ is QQQ. You know, just to let you all know. A couple of stocks that I really like, just like their overall patterns and behaviors, is Deere. I really like Deere, as Deere has been in this box consolidation for a very long time. Like if I go to the weekly chart, we can see that it had this nice uptrend, and then it's just been consolidating here, for a very long time. So about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. We're on the 19th month of this consolidation. We had a nice bullish engulfing here, and we're holding an uptrend, and we're getting between resistance and support. So if we go to the weekly chart, we could see that we're getting in between resistance and support, and it's getting tight. So this is going to break out up or down. I like, if we look at the monthly chart, it is very bullish pattern. Lots of buy volume, squeezed to the upside, and our RSI is bullish. Our DMIs are getting super tight and close together. I like it. I like it to the upside. I favor it. It has a bullish pattern, and indicators are bullish. Squeeze is bullish. On the monthly, I'll go down to the weekly. Indicators are all bullish, a bullish pattern. I go down to the daily. We have a squeeze. We have a squeeze forming. Indicators are all bullish, and we have a bullish pattern. So what does this tell me? I look at the monthly, I look at the weekly, I look at the daily. We all have bullish patterns on every single time frame of the higher time frames. We have two squeezes that are setting up, and the squeezes are setting up to the upside. All of our indicators are bullish. We're holding an uptrend, and we have a lot of buy volume. What is that telling me? That's telling me that it's possibly favoring to the upside. If it's favoring to the upside, it should break out. And if you could tell here, we have this dip, strong dip here, and then strong recovery here, right? And you can see that on this strong dip here, we have, we have some sell volume, right? Majority of sell volume is right here at this reversal. So that's a good sign for bulls. And then we have a lot of buy volume, lots of buy volume, lots of buy volume, lots of buy volume. Some sell volume here in this consolidation, but now what's coming in, a lot of buy volume. So what's that telling me? That's telling me that there's a lot of accumulation happening in this particular stock, and we're going to get tight, and then that consolidation is going to explode, and it's going to explode one way or the other. And which way do I favor? Well, let's take a look. All of our signs are pointing bullish. Our indicators are signing bullish. Our buy volume is signing bullish. We're above the 50-day, we're above the 200-day, and we're above the 100-day. That's very bullish in itself, being above the moving averages, because it tells us that the price is on average above the past 100 days of price, the past 200 days of price, and the past 50 days of price. So what does that tell me? That tells me that buyers are accumulating this particular stock. So this stock does not have earnings coming up already. So that's going to be sometime in the future, but I think it's going to break out before that happens. So this is going to maybe consolidate for a couple more days, but it's in the area of breakout. So I would be long. I'd be long probably end of August, early September calls for a breakout here. And if you wanted to do a straddle, you could definitely do a straddle here, especially with VIX so low. The straddle shouldn't be costing so much money. So you could do a straddle here to either 175 and 155, or a straight. You could do a strangle to 175 and 155, or you could do a strangle. No, I'm sorry, got that mixed up. So the strangle was 175 and 155, and then the straddle would be at 165, just straight call and puts at 165. Same strike price, that'd be the straddle. So you do either one of those if you don't want to choose a direction. If you want to go long calls, first price target is about 175, 174, and then it should be headed up to the 180s. So that's a good $10 move. And then another, from here to there is $15 move up. So if we get that breakout and we get that push up, that's a nice move on Deere. Because Deere doesn't really move that often, that much. As today, it had a negative 47-cent day, which was not a big move at all. Holding this uptrend line, I like it. If you would want to hedge this position, you would go long, long whatever strike you would like to that 175, and then I would buy a shorter dated put hedge to say 160 or 157.80, 157.50 could be the strike. So the squeeze is going to fire off. The monthly squeeze is getting set up to fire off. So this could have a really nice big push. All right. So that was D. Let's see. And then one stock that I talk about every week is UDX, and this one's still setting up this inverse head and shoulders. And look at this buy volume. Look at this squeeze. Look at the indicators. They're bullish. It's just this buy volume is insane. I love it. The squeeze is nice. It's setting up to the upside. This RSI looks great. DMI looks great. This is the monthly chart. Okay, go down to the weekly, and we can see all that buy volume looks great. Indicators are still looking good. DMI it needs to come up a little bit, but we're holding that weekly support that we've been talking about for the past couple of weeks. And now it's, if we go higher or to the daily, we can see that we were on a uptrend here, but then we broke it last week, but then we recovered back up to it. So I want to see this get back over. I mean, look at this buy volume coming in. Indicators are all going bullish again. This does have earnings coming up. Oh, tomorrow. Or okay, so today actually. So today, before market. Okay, so earnings is going to come up this morning before the market opens. So if it's good earnings and it takes off, well, it's going to continue. So you want to jump in, whatever happens to it. Hopefully you're already in. I've been talking about this stock for quite a while, about since it was, you know, down here. I've been talking about it, and I said up here there was buy zone. So hopefully you're in it long. I said get 70 days out a couple weeks ago. So hopefully you're long, because if this goes, this one could start running and keep running for a bit. So watch that. If it pops, you know, I would still get longer term options, especially if it pops. I wouldn't buy right away. I would wait. If it does pop in the morning, I would wait 5 minutes before buying, so all that IV crush goes away within the first 10 minutes. All that IV crush goes away, and then you could buy your options for a lot cheaper. If you jump in right away, you might get hit by that IV crush, and you might, you know, be down 30, 40, 50% right off the bat if you buy right at the open. Okay, so wait 5 minutes. Doesn't matter if it's running. This stock is going to run for a while. Okay, so keep that in mind. If it tanks, then stay away from it. Just walk away from it. If it has bad earnings and it tanks, just walk away from it, and then we'll reassess it if that happens. Okay. So definitely want to watch. If it pushes up and jumps $10 and it's above 144, oh wow, it's going to be breaking all-time highs and it's going to be running. You definitely want to be owning this, and as it's going to have a nice pop, because this inverse head and shoulders is going to fire off, and it's going to start taking off to 156 and to 157. I mean 171. So it's definitely one to watch. You want to have your alerts set up on that one bright early in the morning. Keep that on your chart, and make sure that you're watching that. All right, so let's go to Netflix, because that one has been so Netflix here, you know, that one had the real bad earnings. Okay, subscriber growth fell off, you know, horrible, worst subscriber growth ever that they've ever had in history. So it sold off hard. But we look at long-term chart of Netflix, and we see that it has an ascending triangle on it. You know, we thought initially that it was an inverse head and shoulders on the weekly, but now it's pretty much evident that it's forming a ascending triangle, as we have this support here, and then we have this resistance that's straight off the 385. So we've been holding this uptrend for a very long time, for several years now. Okay, so we came down here near that, and if we go to the weekly chart, we could see that, okay, hit that 100-day. So that 100-day has been acting as a trend line. So hit that 100-day and it popped, right? So let's go back here. Hit this 100-day here and it pushed up. Okay, broke that 50, hit that 100-day here and pushed up. Okay, broke this 50, and what did it do? Okay, hit that 100-day, popped up, and now it's hitting that 100-day again. Okay, so it's right there, hit that today. Okay, now it's holding there. If you go to the daily, we could see, okay, so we're slightly, I thought it was gonna go to 300 and it caught that support at the 100-day today, so it might not get to that 300. But here we formed a bottoming tail reversal on some pretty high selling volume. So that's actually a good sign for bulls. It's telling us that there's a lot of sellers that are getting out of this position, as they were probably shorting it from here, and they've already taken their money. Now they're going to start covering, as they already dropped, you know, about 70 points. They're going to start taking their profits. So if this starts taking their profits, we get a big candle up here. We should hit that 322.50 and essentially that 336, and we're going to be testing that 200-day, and we're going to see if we could get back over that and then continue this ascending triangle that's on the monthly chart. And if we do that, we're going to get tight, and then about this area here, we should break up or down. Okay, so that's what we're looking for for Netflix. Let's go back to the weekly chart. So we should get some little movement here. As this fell real hard, we should at least come back to this 50-day, which is about 337, 336, and get some resistance there, maybe consolidate, and then move up slowly into next month, and then chop around some on Netflix. Okay, so let's move on. We said we were looking at, you know, NQ being strong. So let's look at Apple. So Apple here, let me go to the monthly chart. You know, we're in this bullish uptrending channel here. I could extend that to the left for you if you like, and we could see that, you know, it's in this bullish channel here. So we're making this uptrend, and we also have this downtrend here, and we're currently poking our head outside of the downtrend. And we go to the weekly chart, and we can see that better. See, we're poking our head outside of this downtrend. Friday we rejected, and we actually sold off, right? We rejected that downtrend and sold off hard, but then today we gapped up and then rallied on up and got above that downtrend. So as long as we're above that downtrend, above 204.50, this is looking good. We also had this uptrend here, and we broke it, and also broke that from that downtrend, but this one got above both of them today. So this holds that and continues, then this should go to 207.75 and then push up to 211. After hours, I know it's already at 208, so if it continues on going, it's going to be headed to that 211, and then after that we'll be looking at 215 and then 220 as targets for Apple. Apple does have earnings coming up later on in this month. On the 30th, so that would be next week, so 7 days from now. So next Tuesday, Apple's earnings are come, so we might push up, maybe consolidate a little bit before earnings, and then earnings will come in and, you know, do the final dictation of where Apple's gonna go. We do have the 100-day crossing over the 50-day. That's a good sign. That's a bullish sign. All right, let's see. So we did Apple. We did, let's see. So let's look at Amazon. So Amazon, we have this nice uptrend. We also have this kind of ascending triangle pattern on Amazon that's, you know, kind of resembles Netflix. Netflix is more developed, but Amazon, we're right at that resistance here. We have that rising uptrend, and then we have that flat resistance. We're near that resistance here, right? We're getting close to it. We do have this bullish uptrending channel here, and we go to the weekly, see that a lot better. So we have this bullish uptrending channel here. So we're at that 2050 level, and that's acting as resistance. Well, we're not quite there. We're at 2030, 2035.80. So we're very, very close to that. So of course, we're gonna have to have some type of catalyst to break that 2050 all-time high number. So earnings can definitely be it, and that's gonna be in 2 days. Yeah, on Thursday. So that's gonna be Thursday. So if good earnings, we could definitely break all-time highs. If not good earnings, then we could come back to 1625. 1625 could definitely drop back down, maybe even more, bounce off this uptrend again, and then start moving back up. Let's go to the daily, and we can see we do have a bullish pattern on the daily, but it's kind of weak. We got up to 2035, and then we dropped back down. We tested that weekly breakout, we held it, but then we closed below that daily support and that gap fill. So that daily support and gap fill, we try to get above it once, failed, twice, failed. We actually try to gap over it here and failed, and then we try to push over it here and close right on it. So tomorrow we should push it through, or we're gonna consolidate again. Hopefully Amazon holds that 1964.40 and gets back above that 1986.46. If it gets back above that, that's really strong. I don't like the sell volumes that are coming in on Amazon here, but as long as they stay below average, then I'm not too worried. But they are coming in a little stronger than the buy volumes. But as long as tomorrow and the next day we don't get above average sell volumes like this one, then I wouldn't be too worried. But just know, if Amazon beats, we're going to 2100. If it fails, we're going to 18, 20, or actually 16, possibly 16. Could definitely go to 18, but we could definitely drop down even lower, and maybe even test this low over here. Maybe test this 200 day if it drops. If it respects this bullish channel still, even if it misses, then it'll just drop down to this. You know, it'll lose about 100 points. Yeah, lose 100 points, or it'll gain about 50 points. So hopefully it gains more points if it's good earnings, and hopefully, you know, they had great numbers this year, and it pushes up and it pulls the market up higher as well. All right, so that's Amazon. So just keep that in mind. You know, Amazon this week, the options are going to be extremely expensive. I would encourage you to just wait until it makes the move, and then if it pops up, then jump on Amazon after. If it pops down, then jump on it after that. Don't try to play earnings because it's always a gamble, 50-50, and then you take in the risk of IV crush. So if it goes to 2100 and you have an option that's 2100, you're not going to make any money because the IV crush is going to take you out. You got to exceed that 2100. You got to exceed that 2100, and then you got to stay above it in order for you to actually make some money. All right, let's see. So another stock that we've been watching is CAT, and it's just been consolidating in this range. We did break the downtrend here, but it's just been holding on to that, barely holding on to that. So it's been just chilling right here. We want to see, we don't like this squeeze and then it's forming to the downside. We don't like that. We don't like this flirting with the average here, and we don't like this heading down to the 50 line. But they have earnings coming up as well, so that could propel it up. Again, we break that 144.77 and this one's running hard. If we break this 131.50, then it's dropping hard. So we're right in the middle, just cruising. And so whether break down or we break up, definitely one to watch though. Definitely want to watch. Let's see. BABA is another one. So if we look at this long-term chart, we can see BABA is in this triangle pattern. It's more like a symmetrical triangle pattern. So symmetrical triangles are very volatile, and you can see with the price, it's pretty volatile. And we have a lot of gaps up and a lot of gaps down. I do like BABA's, reversal candle here, confirmation, and we're still looking good on BABA. Actually, BABA looks pretty good. If it breaks this 178, it should be flying to 185s. The weekly, it looks good. Indicators all look good. Momentum's going to the upside now. Lots of buy volume, low sell volume. Indicators green. Going to the daily. Lots of buy volume on BABA. Lots of buy volume. Very low sell volume. Momentum is kind of just chilling. It's not really doing anything, but all of our indicators are pretty bullish. Bullish. Lots of buy volume. We're holding that daily support. We're consolidating in between that 100-day and the daily support. We get above that 100-day and we should be trying to push that 176. If we push that 176, we're going to break that 178, and once we do that, we should be heading into the 180s. Into 180, 185 is where I'll be cautious on taking profit because that is a major downtrend line. So I would be definitely looking to take some profits there, some risk off, and then jumping into a possible straddle or strangle in this zone as we either break up and rip up, or we break down and start consolidating back down towards that lower end of support and continuing this triangle pattern. All right, so Let's see. Let's take a look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA broke that downtrend, back tested it, held, and now it's consolidating here. It's looking good. Had a nice consolidation. It's holding its 200-day. That's good. If it breaks at 174, it should start running to about 185, 200. So NVIDIA is looking good. Lots of buy volume. I've been noticing this on chip names, semiconductors. They're all looking pretty good. MU had a breakout, and I think AVGO had a breakout recently. Let's see. MU. So let's go to MU. So MU had this nice cup handle and bull flag, and it broke out on Friday, and then continued today, hit that first price target on the daily, and it looks like it's pushing towards that first price target on the weekly of 48, and then could possibly get that 49.27. But look at all this buy volume, low sell volume, buy volume, low sell volume, buy volume, momentum's up, indicators up, DMI just complete control. Like this one's still gonna go. It's still gonna push. It's still gonna respect this uptrend, and it's gonna continue on. Look at this gap up, another gap up, and it's gonna continue pushing. The chip stocks are pushing. They're gonna continue. Looks like MU is the strongest one out of the bunch right now. Let's see, AVGO. Let's take a look at AVGO. AVGO attempted to break out and it was weak. It still has pretty good buy volume, but MU is probably the strongest out of all the names. I would say MU, then it's NVIDIA, then it's AMD, and then AVGO. AVGO looks probably the weakest. Between AVGO and AMD are kind of in the same boat, and MU and NVIDIA are pretty much the leaders right now. Yeah. Well, I think I covered quite a few stocks. I know a lot of people always have questions on Tesla, so let me go over that one really quickly. So Tesla, we've been watching it, broke that downtrend a while back, and then it was in this bullish channel, and it got above this bullish channel, and it's been hitting that weekly support, which is now resistance, and hit there, held that breakout of that channel, held it there, try to get it again, failed, and then today it broke this uptrend, had this nice uptrend, broke that uptrend, tested it, failed to get over it, and then this one today opened up at that first price target but sold off. So this one's probably gonna, continue on grinding and consolidating until earnings, which is tomorrow, Wednesday after the close. So tomorrow, Wednesday after the close, that's gonna, if earnings are good, Tesla should be heading to 280. If earnings are bad, it should be heading to 240, 238, maybe even 220. Depends on how bad. But looking at the volume, it's a little mixed, but there's a lot more buy volume than sell volume, and indicators are up, momentum's up. Everything's saying buy. It's looking good. I wouldn't be surprised if it pushes and this gets back to maybe that 300 range in a couple months. All right, so things to look forward to is Amazon, Tesla earnings this week, Apple next week, and we already viewed the market, the ES looking weaker, NQ looking stronger. If NQ breaks out, you're gonna wanna get some QQQ calls to 195, 196 area. We'll take a look at QQQ right now. So QQQ in this rising wedge as well, just like NQ. We had this uptrend, we broke it Friday, and today we came back and tested it, couldn't get above it, but we did get above that support of 192, but we tested that and rejected. So to be very strong, I like to see it push over and get above that and reclaim this uptrend. If it does that, that's a very good sign that it could push higher. If it doesn't, we're going to consolidate until one of the earnings takes us over this, because if we can't get over this, we're not going to get over this. And if we can't get over that or that, then we're going to drop back down. Buy and sell is mixed. Momentum's kind of flat. DMI still buyers, RSI still buyers, but we are at the upper end of this rising wedge. We could definitely go higher, and we could hit these 197s, 198 before we, fall back down. But we're gonna have to see how that earnings turns out. All right, guys, hope you liked the video. Give a thumbs up, comment, and appreciate you. All right, let's make some money this week.